pretty good idea that students are able to get their loans forgiven.
Take out a loan, you go to school, you pay it off, just like everybody else did.
I don't think it's enough, right? I think it needs to be more than that.
You make the decision to take out student loans to go to school, you know the possible ramifications of that if you can't pay them, and I feel like you should be responsible for your actions.
Americans weighing in on President Biden's plan to forgive thousands of dollars in student loan debt per borrower. For more on this, we are joined by the founder of Student Loan Justice, Alan Collins, and Senior Vice President and Policy Director for the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, Mark Goldwine. Mark, Alan, thank you for being here. Let's jump right in on the fairness issue. Some say it's unfair. Others say that it should have been more than $10,000 or $20,000 in the Pell Grant. But I want to play for you what President Biden said when he was asked about the fairness part of it. Listen.
Mr. President, is this unfair to people who paid their student loans or chose not to take out loans?
Is it fair to people who, in fact, do not own multi-billion-dollar businesses if she wants these guys to get them all a tax breaks? Is that fair? What do you think?
Well, what do you think, Alan? I'll start with you.
I think this entire lending system is one huge, unconstitutional, unfair, big government, red state wrecking, nationally threatening lending beast. This lending system has got to go. It's over the cliff. Even before the pandemic, 85% of all borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans. Look at states like Texas, $141 billion. How are we going to strip $141 billion out of the people of Texas? I think that would probably turn the state into something like Mexico. It's just not going to happen. This lending system has been stripped of bankruptcy protections, of statutes of limitations, and the federal government has been given a license to steal.
Well, let's broaden this, Mark, beyond just the state of Texas. CRFB, you guys putting out estimates that this is perhaps $500 billion. What can you tell me about the real cost? And what everyone wants to know is, how is this going to be paid for?
Yeah, we estimate this is going to cost about $500 billion. Penn Wharton budget model just came out and said it could be upwards of $1 trillion. I think our number is closer, but that is a tremendous cost. It's going to be paid by everybody through higher inflation. We think the inflation rate may go up maybe an extra quarter point, which basically means that 12% of Americans are getting a benefit. The other 88% are paying more at the grocery store.
And so when we hear from the White House, to follow up on that, Mark, we hear from the White House that it's going to be paid for through deficit reduction savings they've already made. Are you buying that?
No, this is like Ponzi scheme math. They're basically saying, because we're not going to restart payments as already scheduled, that's savings for something else. $500 billion is twice the cost of the 10-year savings from the Inflation Reduction Act. By the way, something I strongly supported of the administration's. They are giving away all of their deficit reduction several times over.
And Alan, are you worried about who's going to pay for this, how this is even paid for?
Yeah, no offense, but what Mark said is absolute nonsense. The large majority of that $1.6 trillion is monopoly money. It's interest, penalties, and fees way more than the original principal. So we're talking about canceling bad, uncollectible debt. Not one dime will be taken from the Treasury, not one penny will be added to the national debt, and not $1 will be injected into the consumer economy to cause inflation. That's nonsense.
Mark, you want to respond?
I mean, everything you just said is false. Official scorekeepers from CBO to the Office of Management and Budget to the Department of Education acknowledge that this has a cost. It'll be recorded in year one. It'll be immediate loss to government wealth, and then over time, it'll be lower cash flow. Prior to the pandemic, we were, in fact, collecting $85 billion a year of student debt. Not all the debt was good. But these numbers, these $500 billion numbers, they account for this tax. Some will be bad.
And we didn't even work in the fact that progressives are upset that it's not enough. And, of course, the possibility of possible legal challenges that could come. Alan and Mark, thank you for being here. We'll try and bring you back, because this story is certainly not going away, and a lot of people talking about it. Have a great rest of your Saturday.
Thank you.
All right.